business, if you could just come. Oh, there's my girl, Miss Business. This is going to be a good one. Because, baby, I can't tell you how much stress we all have over finances, right? So we're going to get that part right so that we can start a great new week. Hello, Miss Business.
How are you? Hello, can you hear me?
Babe, I'm so happy to see you.
I'm so happy to be here.
We've banging it out this morning.
Yes. Yes. It's like fall time, so now it's time. I love my bangs. So.
Yes, indeed. So, you know, as you saw it, I saw you were in the comments when I was talking with Spirit and everything. And we talked a little bit about how financial wellness really does play a part in our overall wellness. And so for you, what does financial wellness look like 101? Because, you know, there's many different levels to it. You know, there's, you know, you can be, you know, wealthy, you could be middle class, you could be, you know, rich, you could, all these different things. But what's like Financial Wellness 101? What does that look like?
Financial Wellness 101, it's super important to be realistic. And first, so I have two. First thing is that you have to understand where you are currently. Most people don't understand where they are financially, so therefore they don't understand how to approach their bills, how to approach investing. And so then it creates a cycle where we get into this thing called the rat race, where we're just, you know, money's coming in, money's going out. And I've seen this happen at all different levels. So it doesn't have to just be when, you know, you are, you know, not making a lot of money. I've seen people make millions of dollars, and literally millions of dollars are going out in that same year because they are not aware of what is going on and, you know, how to manage their money. Because realistically, in our minds, our goals a lot of time is to make money. And so once we start getting money, our first thing is we want to spend money. We want to do all the things that we envision doing. And then it becomes a situation where you're spending a lot more than you're making, but you feel like, you know what, because it's coming in, you know, I have it and it's going to always keep coming, which is another issue.
Yes.
So that to me is what, like, financial wellness, that's like the first step. 101 is like getting it together and understanding where you are.
So having a really come to Jesus moment, a full financial analysis with yourself. And I want to talk about that just from a couple of different levels, because I'm sure everyone on this live has been, you know, the saying, I've been rich and I've been poor, you know, and so when you're at your, maybe you're going through real financial struggles, maybe you're living paycheck to paycheck and things like that. What do we do when we're looking at our finances honestly? How do we go about that? Are we just looking at how much is coming in with our paycheck and then how much is going out with bills?
Yes. So the first thing that you should do, and I encourage all my clients, whether it's a personal side or a business side, is sit down and have a date with your bank statements. A lot of people are not aware. A lot of people are not aware of what's coming in and what's going out. So that's your first step. You have to first realize where you are. So if you sit down and have a date with your bank statements and you say, okay, this is how much money is coming in, and these are all of my, I like to call them your fixed costs, right? These are like your costs, like your rent, your car note, your car insurance, all of these things that are just bills that you have to pay every single month. Childcare. Then you have to sit down and think about, how much money am I spending going out? How much money am I spending on clothes? What subscriptions am I enrolled in that I'm not using? So many clients find so many subscriptions. They're like, oh my God, like I'm paying $29.99 and I'm paying $39.99, but those things add up.
You know, I'm on 4 dating apps right now and I'm using none of them. So that's a problem.
And are you paying for them?
Yes.
See, there you go. That's a problem, right? So you have to first get a clear view on what your finances look like, what's coming in, what's going out. Then you need to make a decision on what can I eliminate or what can I reduce. So as an example, you're on 4 dating apps. Find the one that's best for you, or maybe 2 that's best for you, and then eliminate the others. Right there, you're saving. Then another thing is figure out how you can reduce some of those costs. So like, let's just say for car insurance, you can get a better rate on car insurance. So those things are extremely important. And I think another thing that's extremely important that, you know, we don't really talk about is I always tell clients, like, close your eyes, figure out what does that dream life look like for you? Because it's easier for you to cut down on certain things and make certain choices when you know where you're going. So if you can close your eyes and say, listen, I'm dreaming of a house in LA overlooking the city. I'm dreaming of driving a Lamborghini. I want this specific lifestyle. I want to be able to do those things. It's easy to then say, you know what? In order for me to get here, I need to make this amount of money every single year. And then you break that down into every single month, to every single week, to every single day. And it has to be so clear on where you're going, because once you're clear on where you're going, you're then able to say, you know what? I know, like, I'm okay with not going out. I'm okay with telling my friends, no, I can't go out, or I'm going to miss a dinner, or I just have to stay in and work, because you know where you're going, you know? So I think it's twofold.
Yes, I love that. And let's talk a little bit about, because we all know, we joke a lot about, LLC, Twitter, and all that kind of stuff about, having your own business. As we know, Black women are the fastest growing group of female entrepreneurs in the country. But oftentimes our businesses fail, they don't scale, different things like that. So let's talk about how we can use financial wellness to actually get us on the path of having a really good entrepreneurial journey. Because I know for myself, in my book, Bevelations, Lessons from a Mother, Auntie Bessie, I talk about how when I quit my job where I was making $350,000 a year, and I had money saved for about a year, and I thought it was going to be enough, and then it turned out it wasn't. And then my finances took a really big plummet, where I was in housing court. I was like, trying to figure out how to stretch a can of salmon for, 3 meals and different things like that. I went from like having really good salary to really not making much money at all. And so what advice would you give to someone who's looking to be an entrepreneur? What are the steps, 3 easy steps that they can take to get on this entrepreneurial journey, but without having their finances go down the drain?
Okay, I'm so happy that you said this, because you don't understand how many times people reach out to me. They're like, oh, I want to start an LLC. I do this thing on the side, and I'm going to like start my business, and I'm going to like quit. And I'm like, wait, hold on. You can't just jump out the window and just quit your job. And I think that's another thing outside of, the LLC journey. We are on a quitting your job journey, and it is bad because a lot of people don't understand what it takes to be an entrepreneur. A lot of people will say to me, listen, I just want to work less. Like, I don't want to work for anybody. I'm like, you're going to work 3 times harder for yourself, right? So if I could give people 3 tips on what they should do. First, you need to understand your industry. You need to understand what it takes. You need to consult with the right professional. So that's all in one thing. Understanding your industry and really understanding the numbers and how much is it going to take to fund it. Not only how much is it going to take to fund it, how much, like, what do you need? Do you need help? What can you do versus what you need to outsource? The person that you need to outsource, how much do they cost? So like you mentioned, and I hear a lot of people say that, I have 1 year of my expenses saved up. I have some money saved up and it's 1 year. Okay, but what if your business takes 3 years or 5 years to
Mine took 7 years for me to go from being an advertising executive to me getting my first TV show. 7 years of journey. And that was tough. In the middle of that, I became an accidental entrepreneur. I actually created a business that sustained me. But then, because I was already behind the 8 ball, I got into tax issues. So it was a whole sticky, wicky mess.
Don't worry, we're going to talk about that. Don't worry.
Go ahead, Miss Business, because we need to know these things. I love that you're telling us that we need to understand what's going on with our finances. We need to understand how many people we're going to have to hire to be able to do this business successfully. We also have to understand about taxes.
Yes, and I'm definitely getting to that because that's what I do on a day-to-day. So yeah, we definitely, need to understand who we need to consult. Again, a lot of it, when it comes down to it, is planning. So many people don't plan for what's coming for their business. And so what they'll do is they'll get excited. They'll watch these influencers. They'll watch other business owners, not knowing that it took you 7 years to get your TV show. They're just looking at you on TV and they're like, you know what? Yes, I'm going to do that. Yeah. So one, just be very realistic in understanding what that monetary amount is going to take. Also, be careful when you are forming these businesses. So just to get into LLCs, be very mindful on what it's going to take. What do you need to be in compliance with an LLC? What tax filing requirements are you required to file? Do you have to file on an annual basis? Do you have to file on a quarterly basis? If you're in retail, you're selling some sort of products, do you have to pay sales taxes? All of these things are often things that people ignore, but at the end of the day, it's a situation where people do not think about these things, and they always think about the glitz and the glam of it, and they'll put more into their product that they want to sell than really understanding the back end and really understanding their pricing. So those things are really important. When you are starting out, I think that I'm a CPA, so for those of you who are not familiar with me, I am a CPA, so I'm a certified public accountant, and I work with a lot of small business owners and individuals, just helping them to navigate the whole tax side of things, because just like you, I was in corporate. I spent one of the top accounting firms in the world. I spent 6.5 years there, but my dad has a restaurant. So I grew up in the small business space, but then I went to corporate, and I realized that there was a huge difference on how small businesses approach taxes and business and how corporations do it. So I'm like, wait, hold on. First of all, we need to realize that we are in a space where you can write off your lifestyle, which is another thing that people are like, oh, I want an LLC so I can write off my lifestyle, right? But you can figure out, listen, these are my business expenses, and this is how I can write them off. Which is why, as being an accountant, I wrote a book, 300 plus tax deductions, right? Because consistently, actually I have a book copy here. So
yes, please.
Yes, 300 plus tax deductions. I wrote this book because so many people will come to me and say, I have a business, but what can I write off? What can I write off? And I think people are more consumed with the idea of writing things off versus making money. Stop skipping, that, be aware, right? Be aware, but also understand, like, listen, I have to make some money in order to write those things off. So
I love that. You are preaching up in here, but I don't want to get too deep into the entrepreneurial thing, because some of us have to take a couple of steps back before we can even become a entrepreneur. First, we have to get reconciled in our heads. Girl, you have a problem. You're a shopaholic. And let's get into why one of the worst, and I talk about this in my book, that one of the worst things that we ever did from a marketing point of view was when we made the shopaholic be a cute thing. You watching Sex and the City, and you watching Carrie go and buy all her things. You watching, you watching these shows, or even you're living that life, or you're watching Instagram and you're seeing everybody go and get the bust out watch. You're seeing people going picking up their Lamborghini. You're going to see people getting Birkins and all this kind of stuff, and you want that too. So let's talk about how we can hold each other accountable. Because I know for my friends, I caution them, because I worked in fashion, and so I still like nice things. But once upon a time, me buying nice things was literally the balm that I was putting on an open wound. I was trying to heal myself through the stuff. And when I realized that I was so unhappy, and that buying stuff would not change that moment in my life, it would not make me happy. You're happy literally for the moment that you're in the store and they're giving you the champagne and you buy the expensive thing and you feeling fierce, and you're feeling happy when you look at the shopping bag and everybody's like, ooh, what you getting on? And then it goes home, it's in the closet, and then you're left with, like, is this all there is? So let's talk about how we can hold each other, our sisters, accountable, and also be held open to when our sisters hold us accountable with the whole shopaholic thing, because it really is a problem, I believe.
I speak to clients about that all the time, because I feel that we try to shop the pain away, as I call it. So you sit there and, as you mentioned, you go shopping and you're spending all this money. But again, I think that goes kind of hand in hand with what I was speaking about before, where you don't know where you're going. You have no idea of your finances. So you know what? I'm going to just go out here and I'm going to blow this, and I'm going to ignore how I'm really feeling, that pain that I'm really going through. So I'm going to just run up my credit cards and not really pay attention to those things. So I do think that I'm so happy that we're having this conversation. I think in terms of accountability, I think the problem is that a lot of people, especially in a space of financial wellness, a lot of people find it very difficult to find those people to hold them accountable. So what I say is you either, you may have those people that in your life, and it may be someone older, it may be your grandmother, it may be your mother, it may be an aunt, it may be a friend. However, you have to find that person that you can talk about finances with. And that's another thing that we don't do. We don't talk about finances. We feel that everything has to be a secret, which is a huge problem culturally, because everything has to be a secret. I can't let you know how much I'm making. I can't let you know what's really going on with me. And no, we need to have that conversation about finances. So I think finding that accountability partner or creating that accountability partner, I think a lot of people are in a space where they'll say, I don't have anyone. But I always ask the question, have you tried to have that conversation with people around you?
Yes.
Because they may also feel like, wow, I don't have anybody to talk to about finances, but wow, I wish I had someone to talk to about finances.
Yeah, what I find is once I became very honest and open about my financial difficulties, other people would then be like, girl, me too.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I forget one time I was in housing court and I ran into one of my very dear friends there, and he was like, what you doing here? And I was like, the same thing you doing here, trying not to get a picture. You know what I mean? And it opened up the floodgates to us just talking and giving each other tips and how to avoid it. And
Yep.
you know what I mean? And that's what we need to be doing. And so if you have sisters, if you got sister friends that you cannot be honest and open with on all aspects of your life, those are not your sisters. And you need to revamp and remix your friend group.
Yes.
Because my close circle of friends, I can tell them anything that's going on with me without fear of judgment,
Yes.
without fear of them going around and talking my business to other folks. You know what I mean? And so we have to really be supporting our sisters. And speaking of supporting sisters, for everyone who's just joined, we are here for a weekend of wellness brought to you by Sisters on BT, Mr. Tyler Perry's fabulous show. And they're coming back on Wednesday, October 13th at 9 p.m. Eastern, so make sure you're tuning in. And I'm here with the fabulous Miss Business 101, and she's giving us all kinds of helpful tips. And now I'm going to open it up to questions from folks. So let's see. If you guys have any questions from Ms. Business 101 or even from me, please put them in the comment section. I don't have no friends, so if y'all friendless, I am too. Okay. Well, I need you to get some friends.
You have to get your friends or your circle. Sometimes
Yes.
it starts as a circle. You may not have that immediate friend group, but as Bev said, when you start speaking, like I get everyone's business, right? Because I'm the accountant, so they just freely talk to me about their finances. However, it's because they know that I'm already speaking about finances. So find your group, find your tribe. It may not be a friend. It may start out as an accountability partner, and then you all will grow into friends. But you can't continuously use the excuse that you don't have friends or you can't find an accountability partner. We're on Instagram right now. I can imagine if you put a post up or you put something in your story that says, anybody want to talk about, finances, or anybody has any investment tips or strategies? And then there's so many people you can tap into where you'll get the resources.
Ms. Business,
Yes.
someone wants to know, are there any good apps to help us with budgeting? And that's a really good one. And you know what? I actually have been using Acorn for my savings because they round up to the nearest dollar, but I don't want to put that in your mouth. But you tell us some good apps that you like for budgeting.
So apps for budgeting, if you are on the personal side, I do like Acorn. I do also like Mint. And if you're on the business side, then QuickBooks is really good as well.
Love that. Love that. We have more questions. How can I go about starting streams of income? Various streams of income.
Oh my God, I'm so happy to ask this question. Various streams of income. First, you have to dominate your first stream of income. The problem a lot of times is that people will focus so much on creating 7 streams of income when they don't have one solid stream of income. And I think what's also important is for you to think about what your main stream of income is. Try to find 7 streams from that one stream of income and then move on to the next one. Because so many people will be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to start a tax business. I'm just going to do taxes. Okay, I'm going to start a candle line. Okay, I'm just going to sell this candle. But what's some other things you can do underneath that one business that can then help you create those different streams within that business? You have to learn how to maximize. So I think if, outside of that, I think it's important for people to just do what resonates with you and not what you see other people doing. And that if you do that, then you will be able to create those several streams of income. But please first create that first stream of income.
I love that so much because I have a friend who has like 20 different businesses, and I'm like, can you just like nail one thing and then build from there? In marketing, that's called brand extensions. And so my business, Dinner with Bevy, now has Life with Vision, Dining with Bevy. You know what I mean? And then, of course, I'm going to be doing another Dinner with Bevy outward-facing program, which is going to be open to the public. So it's all these different things that you have to do, but you have to have one successful thing before you can go on to the next. I love that. We have time for one more question. Well, we're going to take probably 2, I think, if we can get through them. When you file for bankruptcy personally, does that affect your business as a sole proprietor?
No, it doesn't affect your business as a sole proprietor because if you are, it doesn't. And there's 2 different things I want to just address there, just to make sure everyone's clear. When you're operating as a sole proprietor, that means that you did not register your business. You just woke up today and said, hey, I'm going to do this business. There's no separation between your business and your social security number, right? So if you have business things underneath your social security number, then yes, it will be affected. However, if you've taken the steps to get a tax ID number, which is an EIN number, it's then separated out. So then no, it would not be affected. So I had to give both of those.
Yes, really. And then this is the big one. This is the holy grail, guys. This is one that everyone needs. Baby, how do we fix our credit? And is there any magic pill to fix the credit? Like, we get all we see it every day on Instagram, someone saying they can fix our credit. We get the letters in the mail. We get all these different things. We see the commercials on TV. Is that true? Is there someone who can fix your credit? And if not, how do we go about fixing our credit?
So I don't fix credit. However, I have experience in credit. So I'm going to give you guys what I know. Can people fix your credit? Yes. However, you have to make sure that this person is right for you and they have experience. Some people have student loan debt, and some credit experts are experienced in removing, that student loan debt. Other people, they can do what you do, like write letters in to all the credit bureaus to get things wiped off of your credit report. So what I will say is just being very mindful of your credit. Be mindful of the amount of credit cards you open. Be mindful of the credit cards you close. Be mindful of your revolving credit limit that is on your credit, because a lot of times people will get a credit card and have a $3,000 limit and then spend $3,000 of it. You cannot do that because you are not showing that lender that you are financially responsible with your money, because it is a big red flag that if you have $3,000, you feel that you need to spend $3,000, which kind of is full circle to, just being financially unhealthy and not well. So I think just kind of keeping those things in mind, especially the closing of the bank accounts, of the credit cards. A lot of people don't talk about that, but closing your credit cards does affect your credit. Yeah. So you should try to refrain from closing out those credit cards.
Definitely. And then another thing I will always say is that you, like you said, be on top of your credit. So I am a Credit Karma person, CK, Credit Karma. I use them. I also have a service that lets me know when someone has pulled my credit report and different things like that, because I want to know. And if it's not a credit report that I've requested because I'm opening up a new credit card or trying to get a mortgage or something, then I want to know why this person pulled it. And that way you can flag these kind of things, because when people keep pulling your credit report, that makes your number lower. As you mentioned, the revolving debt that you have, that makes your, it has to be a ratio. it should be under 30%.
Under
What you're
30%.
spending on your credit card. So ladies, please be careful. My sisters, please be careful when you go to Victoria's Secrets or any other store and they're like, would you like to open up a credit card?
Don't do those. Those have the worst interest rates.
They have 27%.
Yes. Stay away from store cards.
Stay away from store cards, definitely. But what you should not stay away is from Ms. Business 101.
Please.
I want the folks to know where they can buy your book, because so many people have said, how can we buy her book? Hold up your book and then tell us how we can find it, baby.
Yes, so you all can find, there's a link in my story with the link directly to the book. 300 plus tax deductions literally gives you so many things that you can write off. Everyone's like, oh my God, I didn't know I could write those things off. So it's so important. So make sure that you guys go on my story. If for whatever reason you're looking at this later and it's not in my story, you can always find it on my website. The first link on the website will have the link to my book.
Thank you so much, so much.
You're welcome.
You have been so great. You've told us so much in such a short time about caring for our financial health, because that's one of the things, you know, when you're your sister's keeper, you have to be on top of that as well. And I know that we'll both be watching Sisters on Wednesday, October 13th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on BET. And maybe we should have a call afterwards and we can pinpoint all the sisters that are on the show that have messed up credit and things and see how we can help the characters. Maybe Tyler Perry will put us in there.
Yes, we definitely can. It's always something to take from it. So I look forward to that.
Thank you, my love.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. Bye.
Bye.
All right, lovers. Oh, this has been such a great weekend of wellness. Thank you so much to BET. Thank you so much to Tyler Perry Sisters for this, because I don't know if we could have ever had this kind of forum on a Sunday morning if not for them. Which brings me to my next guest, who is actually one of my dear sisters, my girl. Oh, Miss Business, why you still on here, girl?
No, I can't. You gotta take me out.
You can take yourself out. Wait.
I don't know how to. All right.
Okay, hold on, little lady. I'm gonna get you out of here.
Okay.
Bye, lady.
All right. Bye.